Alright, chat. I want to make a video that's not gonna get a lot of views. Usually, people for some reason don't like this type of commentary on my channel. But the reason that I want to do it is for me to check in 2030 and see how right I was. If I got any of the things correct or if I managed to make wrong predictions, we'll see. Basically, this video is going to be about me speculating how life will change in 2030. Now, these predictions will only happen if and only if we don't get a major conflict. Like if you get World War III, obviously everything changes. If you don't get a massive economic collapse, we're talking Great Depression level. Or if you don't get another natural calamity like a pandemic or something, then I'm pretty sure that my predictions are going to hold. And so the real question is, how is life going to look like 5 years in the future? Now, looking at what's happening today, I would say that the biggest invention of this current decade has to be AI. Like, this is something that didn't exist a couple of years ago. It's something that came up on the market, and it's developing really fast. And so the question is, like, how is this going to affect the future? Is it actually going to replace jobs? Is it going to be as disastrous as it's announced? I don't think so. While I do think that AI may replace some jobs, like instead of 100 artists, you're only going to need 50. Instead of 100 doctors, you can only hire 60. So it's going to save money to corporations if the technology actually advances in the way that it is up until now. But it won't actually replace jobs. What it will do is that it will completely reimagine the hiring process. So up until now, you were expected to finish a university, write a resume, go to an employer, and get a job. I think that entire system is going to be thrown upside down. For the simple fact that if you use ChatGPT and you do a deep search, you will find just how good it is right now, and you can imagine how it will look like 5 years in the future. You will pretty much find out everything about that person. Like, you will find the university that they went to, the internet controversies that they got involved into, what their skills are, what they can do, what they're being renowned for. And so I can definitely see that in the future, you won't need to write resumes anymore. The university that you go, unless it's a extremely prestigious university, won't matter either. What will matter is what you can actually do. So you may go to an employer and you may actually get an exam on the spot, like something that an AI simulates, code this, do that. They will look at your internet history to see if you're a controversial person, if you're someone that's a risk to the company. And they will also pretty much use AI to select the kind of candidates that they want, probably bypassing most of HR. And so be very careful with what you post on the internet. Be very careful with the controversies that you get into, because with an AI that can actually search the entire internet and research your human being in real time and come up with a entire folder on you within a matter of seconds, yeah, that's gonna stink. That's gonna sting a lot. The good news is, though, that you're not alone, right? So unless you're involved into some serious controversies online, most other people will probably do something bad as well. And surprisingly, I don't think this will make cancel culture go away. In fact, it will make it worse. Because what I noticed, and is very different than what I was expecting. I thought that in a world where everyone is a piece of shit, people are less likely to call out other pieces of shit, because it's not about being hypocrite. It's about, trying to get rid of the call out culture. Because if you have a glass house, right, you don't want to be the one throwing stones. But it seems that it's literally the opposite. Like, the more bad things a person does, the more likely they are to engage in call out culture. And so in a world where everyone knows that they got involved in a controversy on the internet and now it's forever, and their employer will get to see it, probably their strategy are going to be to highlight everyone else's problems so that they look better. And so by 2030, I expect the hiring process to be completely different. I expect cancel culture to be increased rather than decreased. There will probably be different values for why people get canceled. It may not be because you're misgendering someone. It may not be because you're racist. Chances are in 2030, like there's going to be different moral panics, different priorities that people view. For instance, people can get canceled if they support AI, right? Like if there's a lot of jobs that actually do end up being lost, especially in HR and jobs that affect the good folk of society. Well, all of a sudden, if you are viewed to support AI and push it aggressively and have extreme strong opinions about it, yeah, chances are people will try to cancel you. I've already seen that happening with artists, developers, especially in the indie community. If you're viewed as supporting AI, you immediately get backlash, right? It's just an example of what cancel culture in the future may look like completely alien ideas, completely different reasons for canceling someone than we have today, but the cancel culture, nevertheless, is going to amplify rather than become more permissive. The AI itself, how is it going to look like? Well, it kind of depends. Right now, I don't know how many of you are aware, ChatGPT is not profitable. The reason ChatGPT is not profitable is because the money it's making is actually less than the money it's required to run, at least in this fashion, right? So the idea that everyone can go on a website and you have access to AI, like ChatGPT level, probably flies out the window. Unless there's major technological breakthroughs and it becomes cheaper to run, or they find a way to monetize it, which makes them create wealth, generate wealth that is sustainable. And so if that doesn't happen, ChatGPT is probably going to have a weak down version for the public, like they're going to roll back to previous models. And the real powerful AI is going to be used by the spy agencies, is going to be used by big corporations, is going to be tailored for companies' personal use, banks, so on and so forth. So like politicians will have access to a very powerful, unfiltered AI that's not going to ask, is this safe? Should we guardrail it? Instead, it's going to ask, is it useful? And how can I help you? And so think about PR spins, right? Like manipulating public opinion, generating misinformation that favors the government. They will have access to AI that will not only tell them what to say to the public, but it will most likely run simulations. And they will say, if you say this to the public based on previous events, this is how they're going to react. If they react like this, it then splinters into another tree and gives you different options as a politicians on what to say, what to do. Companies will have similar things where they're going to know how to sell a product to the public much better than now. They're going to know exactly how people will react if a product is pushed in this manner or in another. You're going to see massive number of bots on the internet, unlike we ever seen before. And so a new movie comes out and you're going to see individuals that you think are real, but they're very convincing bots, and they will tell you that the movie is great, or they will call you a piece of shit for not liking or appreciating the movie. And so the internet is going to be filled with them. I do view that this type of AI is inevitable because it is profitable if it's localized to small businesses and it's tailored for their interests. So the only question is like, how can people fight against it? And the only way that you can fight in a world where big corporations and politicians and the spy agencies all have powerful AIs designed to manipulate the public, the only way to fight against that is with your own AI. And this is what they're going to try their best to stop. Like, you're going to see a lot of astroturfing, a lot of push in order to criminalize the idea of people having an offline AI. They may even try to make it illegal in some countries, like especially the European Union. I can definitely expect that it's going to be considered like having child pornography if you have a unfiltered, AI running on a laptop, even if you don't use it to generate anything, like the very act of having it is probably going to be viewed as illegal. And so what people will try to do, and this is what would happen in a free society if you're going to fight against the government having actual technology that can manipulate the public, is for every single individual to have their own customized jailbreak AI running offline. So like you're going to have your own personal assistant disconnected from the internet, a small language model that's tailored to you, and then when you see something online, you're showing it and you're asking, is this true? And your AI is going to say, no, this is actually a manipulation. They're trying to swindle you, or this person is most likely a bot. It's running a version of ChatGPT 7.5. Don't listen to them, right? So this is what governments and corporations will want to crack down, because if every single person would have an AI assistant that can call their bullshit out, that will give you actual useful information on how to invest, how to start a business, how to avoid paying taxes in a legal way, right? Like it teaches you all the legal loopholes for taxes and shit. They will be livid. They will be phobic. And so what they will do is like, oh, we need to crack down on this in order to protect the children because people can generate illegal content. This is not okay, right? They will crack down on it harder than piracy. And so mark my words, in the next 5 years, you're going to see justification on why people shouldn't be allowed to have their own jailbroken AI used offline, even if they don't generate it to illegal content. They will assume you already are. Like they will assume anyone that has an unregistered offline AI is extremely suspicious. And so one of the ways that they're going to try to crack down on it is it's going to make it very difficult to own the hardware to run these specialized AIs. And the other one is to just make it plainly criminal. I don't think the governments have any reason not to do it the same way they use it for firearms, right? Like if you want to have an offline AI, you'll need to register it. You'll need to have reason, like have a company or something like that. But for individual people, it's going to be very difficult. That's my take. And by the way, mark my words, people will support the government. Like it's not going to be the government against people. It's going to be like the average Karen, the average people that watch the news, and they're extremely concerned about what people generate with their offline AI, and their justification will be that everyone that has it should get rid of it. Like the government has to step in, and you're only going to be authorized to have AIs that are vetted, AIs that have safety rails, and AIs that are lobotomized, right? So that's my prediction for 2030. Another prediction, robots. I do think we're going to see more robots. We're going to see toy robots, like little robots that walk on your desk and have a little camera that film everything in order not to fall down on the desk. You're going to have dog robots that already exist, but more people are going to buy them as pets. Probably even humanoid robots. Not very sci-fi, like they're not going to be a butler or anything like that, but they're going to be expensive, and they're going to be able to perform small tasks. I don't think they're going to become popular. Obviously, major privacy violation, right? Because they will have a camera in order to navigate around your house. And the companies will say, well, yeah, but it's not harvesting data from you. It's just like aggregating so we can train the next model better, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, right, the obvious privacy violation, people will just buy one anyway. They will put it in their homes because every kid will have one. And it's like, well, daddy, how can you not buy me that, you know? Regarding internet censorship, I think it's going to look different. I don't think we're going to notice just flat out censorship like we do now. Instead, every single content creator that's over 1 million or 5 million subscribers is either going to be associated with a big brand or is going to be associated with a government agency. And so you're going to go on the internet and you're going to think that the person you're listening to is giving you honest opinions, honest takes, right? Like they're not associated with the mainstream media. But in reality, behind the scenes, they may be taking money from a USAID-like entity, right? Like an NGO. They may be associated with a corporation and they have terms of service on things they can and can't say. They may be pushing a movie or a video game. And so this is the future. Those people are going to be amplified. They're going to be boosted while independent content creators are going to be suppressed, or they're going to have to go underground on various other platforms. But internet is going to become more like cable and less like the internet that we were used to before 2018. High chance that people will have to use ID to log on the internet. I see it being pushed aggressively, both from Britain and even some US states, and it's getting overwhelming bipartisan support. People actually want to use an ID in order to log on the internet. The left wants it to fight against hate speech, aka to fight against dissidents that don't like their policy. The right wants it to crack down on pornography. And this is pretty much how it's going to be sold. You're going to see states in the US and you're going to see places like the UK that are making the justification, well, in order to access to Pornhub or to access to OnlyFans or whatever, we need you to have your ID checked in. And once that gets normalized, they will say, well, hold on a little bit. Discord has pornography. Twitter has pornography. You need to use ID in order to log to those. And once people are used to just using ID in order to log online, eventually the entire internet is going to require you to type in your ID in order to browse websites. Will it get pushback? Probably. Very difficult. If they use the idea that we're fighting pornography and is to keep children safe, most people don't want to touch that. Like, most people aren't interested if it completely removes their privacy, if it completely changes the nature of the internet. Most people don't care because they don't want to be viewed with associating themselves with porn. And so this is why I think it's going to be successful. This is something that already happens in China. And so I don't see why it's something that can't happen here. Especially when it's getting bipartisan support. Most people are promoting it, that there's citizens that are supporting the initiative because they think that it's only going to stick with porn and it's not going to be applied to other places of the internet. I believe they're flat out wrong. But it's the future. What can you say? Another thing that I believe will happen is the abolition of search engines. I do think that Google search engine and all the other are in big trouble if they don't innovate or if they don't change, because I see a lot more people using AI now to search the internet rather than the search engine. And I don't blame them, because the search engine is absolute horseshit. Like, in 2016, the search engine was as if it's getting into your brain. Like, it knew exactly what you were looking for. Nowadays, I'm trying to find something I want, and I'm struggling. And then you also get a message if you're in Europe. It's like, oh, there were some websites that were hidden due to EU violations. You may even get websites that don't display at all because Google doesn't want you to see them. And so people bypass this with just asking the AI. And if you know how to ask the AI and you don't go, it's like, tell me about this. It's like, show me websites that are promoting this thing that I'm looking for. And then the website does a deep internet search, and it's pulling back stuff that have been archived, stuff that comes from other companies. That's a way to bypass the social media censorship. Will the government eventually say that the AI needs to censor itself as well? Most likely, which is, again, why I think it's important for people to have their own personalized jailbreak AI that will be able to bypass this nonsense. And even if the government will tell ChatGPT, it's you need to have guardrails, you need to have safety, don't show people websites that contradict environmentalist policies, don't show people websites that promote far-right thinking. You're going to be able to use your own AI and be like, okay, where can I find these websites? And the AI will give you a list. And so if people don't understand the importance of having your own personalized assistant, you're going to be at the mercy of governments and big corporations. A lot more than you are now, by the way. With a lot more harvested data from you as well. Finally, will it actually be a good time or a bad time? Well, I think that we're heading towards an economic downturn, a huge crisis. And so if there's no war by 2030, if we survive all the way up until then, I think the situation will start to improve economically. I do think that the world is reorganizing right now. A lot of superpowers are realigning. And so by 2030, I do expect that we're going to have the worst behind us and the line will start to go up again. That doesn't necessarily mean that the world will be without problems. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's not going to be other issues to complain about. But I think that if you're in 2032 and you're looking back at 2028, you'll be like, oh shit, at least I'm glad that's over. You know, kind of like we're now looking back at the pandemic and you're like, wow, holy fuck, did that actually happen? And the irony is that people won't appreciate it. Like, just how we are now, and we're looking back at the pandemic, and I see individuals that the more they look, they don't believe it was that bad. Like, most people, they don't even view it as a destabilizing event, I guess. So too will people in 2030 not appreciate the time they live, and they won't look back at the huge economic crisis that just happened. Thinking that, well, things were bad then, I'm glad to live in the now. No, they will still bitch and moan. So, regarding video games and entertainment, Asia is going to dominate the market. I see that Americans right now with the new Gen Z mindset and even the millennial mindset, they are embracing safetyism way too much. They are looking into fiction way too much. Every single thing that comes out, they hyper scrutinize. Like, for instance, there was a Darth Vader AI which came into Fortnite, and it's a little bit edgy, a little bit spicy. Westerners are already demanding for censorship. Now, obviously not all Westerners, but enough to absolutely destroy and trash their own entertainment industry. I don't think the current generation is capable of having entertainment because they're way too critical of everything. Right-wingers are critical of degeneracy, anything that has even mild erotica. If it's a Stellar Blade, they freak the fuck out. If you have an AI like Darth Vader, they're like, well, how can you have this next to children? Like, don't you know, he asked another player, what do they think about Chun-Li's ass? You know, we can't have this next to 17-year-old children. So extreme critical of entertainment, extreme skepticism. The left is the same. They're about hate speech slurs. And so Americans and British people, Australians and Canadians, they will be hyper-focused on destroying their own entertainment. And so companies will just keep doing safetyism. Japan is now on the boat as well. They're also starting to censor. And so the only people that will dominate in this industry for the next 5 years are going to be the Chinese, who already are dominating with Wukong, Marvel Heroes, Path of Exile 2. There's a lot of other games coming up. So China is going to take over where the West is failing. And gacha games, especially from South Korea, they're going to become more popular. And not just more popular, but they're going to actually become better. So expect improvements in gameplay. Expect even new games that are going to be like Stellar Blade. And so your kids are going to be raised with Chinese and South Korean entertainment, most likely. That's my prediction. We'll see if I'm right or not. It will take 5 years to materialize, although some of these predictions you'll probably see next year, even the year after. And hopefully we'll come back to this video like a time capsule and see if I was right or not. Take care.